All right, let's see. Let's see if this works here this time. I didn't click the right button. But there's Jill. All right, so there's Jill. I don't know why it's still waiting there. No, I had to hit live on the other live. So, I don't know. So that's live. That's live. Come on. All right, that's live.
Something's happening.
That's live. Something happening on your screen?
Yes.
All right, there we go. Oh, I got to play ads. the ads
I see ads.
It's the ads. All right, there we go. We're live on YouTube. Finally, I feel like Dave over at Nissan Nation Productions with technology issues. Always got to give him a little bit. They're right there. Hey, Logan's here. Hey, Rick's here. Hey, Gene's here. Sorry, guys. Again, I'm started over again. Tim pickuptrucktalk.com. Gonna get a beer here in a second. My special guest is, of course, Jill, who's Gene's already pointed out. Jill is here from Chicago, and Jill froze just a second on my screen. Maybe you guys see on your screen. I don't know. We're working through technology issues going on here. I'm not sure why we have so many issues, but yeah. So there she is. Now she's her smiling face. Now she's laughing. All right, it's Jill. Jack Tyler says, "Hey, it's Jill." We got lots of going on here. So Jill, can you give us a test or what's going on? Let's see.
Can you hear me?
Let's see. We'll see if they're gonna make sure they can hear you here. We have the 10-second delay as per usual of YouTube, which is insane. But it's for those moments.
They want to make sure you're not swearing. That's all.
Yeah, I mean that's what's happening. So I have muted guys. I'm gonna put a picture of this up on. I should do a picture of it right now. It is this setup is insane. It is just like it's crazy. This is how complex things have gotten. Let's see. We got a note from David. David says, "I see you. I see you too." Let's see. Yes, no whiskey yet. Wait. Good evening. Yes, here. Yes, you can hear. So I'm getting a couple yeses. So we can hear Jill. So we're gonna hear Jill. Fantastic. No whiskey. No whiskey involved yet. Jill says. So no, there is no whiskey involved yet. I'm having a beer tonight when I get a chance to get over there. I just you guys had asked to have Jill on the live stream, and son of a gun, this old dude from Nebraska has figured it out how to do it. I have 2 cameras, 3 keyboards, 4 lights, 2 computer monitors. It's insane the technology I do for you guys. I'm making this happen for you. So I was going to do this earlier, and I decided, hey, want to have Jill involved because she's in Chicago where it's locked down. And I thought, hey, she's sitting there. She has nothing else better to do than talk to me on live on YouTube. So I said, let's do it. And my pet peeve, and may lose pet peeve because I just said a lot of words there. I'm a little tired from work. But my pet peeve is all this garbage about reserving new vehicles. I just saw a story from Rivian. Rivian claims that their R1T is sold out and they've had such a big demand, and investors are like, oh my gosh, and all these people are doing is just giving these companies money. What frustrates me about it is a couple things. First, these consumers aren't being smart consumers. They're not test driving multiple vehicles. They don't even know those stats. They haven't even sat in this thing yet. They're forking over money, which just bugs me. 2, they flop around a lot, right? So I saw when the Bronco came out, people were like, "Whoa, I'm gonna cancel my Rivian and go the Bronco." And then when the Bronco came out, and then the Hummer came out, people were like, "Well, I'm gonna cancel my Bronco and go the Hummer." And so we have all this inflated sales that these people are talking about from Ford and from Rivian, and I know that Joe gets press releases on this all the time like I do, and it's all a bunch of bull. It's all vaporware. It's all these unique numbers they're pulling out of their hat, and they never say how many. No. I got an email from a RivianForum.com and said that they're listing owners and whether they're doing the truck or whether they're doing the SUV, and there was 200 responses. 200 responses. Think about that. How the hell do you keep a business of a truck business in production when you have maybe commitments at 200? So there you go. That's my pet peeve. Jill's like, okay.
Not a pet peeve of mine. I would never sign up on one of those lists, but more power to anybody who does that. And I know there are several automotive journalists who have on Bronco, Mach-E, those things. So,
and from an auto journalist standpoint, like I know David's got a thing in this All Train Nation. He's got a Bronco coming, and for those people, I understand that. I can understand that point of view where you're trying to like get the first one out, so you have the first reviews, so you have the first videos of it. I get that. But from a general consumer standpoint, I mean, slow your roll, guys. Like it'll arrive. Like, I'm going to buy a new truck. Yes, it'll arrive. And yes, the deposit's refundable, but you're just giving cash away to these people. It's just giving them free money. So, and yes.
But you get it back.
Right. But it's ridiculous. All right, so I'm drinking the Mountains Are Blue tonight. My mountains are blue. I know. I'm taking a little time off from whiskey here. I'm just trying to a little less calories. I should say. Whoa, that was a disaster happening. Holy cow. Yeah. So yes, we have. Apparently, my technology survives Coors Light. So that was fun. Things that happen on live stream. So yes, back to the truck.
Well, I'm drinking wine, so cheers.
You call that wine? Holy cow! Did they have a bigger glass? Is that the smallest glass they have?
This is like, just the little petite glass. It just looks big because I'm small.
so I have to tell you that Jill did a Volvo XC90 video, and we were editing it today, and she did an amazing job in this video. And it's really fun to see, like, Jill sitting in the trunk of the SUV, this XC90, and just sitting there like normal. And I'm like watching this video editing going, there's no way in hell my fat ass is getting up there and looking comfortable in the back of this XC90. It's just not happening. So
But it lowers a couple inches so that you can, get up there.
Yes. But a really good point, especially for pets. I thought it was really really handy point. But yeah, that was my beef on that. All right, let's get into some of these comments. Sorry, this is a whole new thing for us, all right? We're working on it for you guys. Tech people trying to be car and truck people. Yeah, the comments on the Rivian, if you notice this, I don't know how many Facebook groups you're part of or if I'm on too many, but the comments from the Rivian people are nothing near what a truck customer would ask. Like, it's this idea, and I said it's a lifestyle vehicle, which is what it is. But it's a lot of tech people that want to get involved now, and they want to buy that vehicle because they've always looked down on trucks as being these environmental monsters that suck up fuel and are terrible for the environment. But now they have a vehicle that runs on pure electricity, and now they're like, hey, maybe I can go out in nature now. Maybe I can go do things. So I'm like, I go do things in nature all the time. So it is kind of surprising. I think there's a definite different truck customer, or I don't even call it truck, lifestyle customer who's buying the Rivian. It's a lot different. The Mighty Casey. This just in, the Titan won't be the worst selling truck in America. No, it will not. But I don't know. Are we going to classify the Rivian, the Hummer EV, the Lordstown truck, the Ford F-150, I guess, or E150, and the Chevy Silverado? Are they going to be broken up into separate sales categories as electric vehicles, or are we going to put them all together in a tire, like we do the quarterly sales results? Are they going to be all part of these quarterly sales results, or are we going to have like this separate area for them? So Jill is the managing editor. So Jill's pondering this stuff right now in her head. She's going, what the hell is he talking about, A? And then B, oh great, I got to think about this on the fly.
So I'm not going to think about it.
Well, there you go, folks. That's how our conversations work here at Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. By the way, Jill has a YouTube channel. I put it down there in the screen. You can check out the YouTube channel. Go check that out. She's doing a lot of that car stuff over there. Go the car stuff. All right.
And I'm just really trying to start building it up, so be kind.
Yeah, Jill's advancing in the world of doing video. All right. Before I get too far, this question on the 2022 Chevy Silverado will not have a column shifter. Joseph Breen asked. Joseph, that's a rumor I haven't heard yet. There is a conversation about the Silverado incorporating the Tahoe interior, and I'm driving the Tahoe this week. They actually were supposed to pick it up today, but they couldn't because of a snowstorm in Denver. And Jill has a Tahoe that she's going to drive around Chicago, and I need to point there at you instead of there. I'm working this out. And Jill has one in Chicago, and she hasn't driven. Well, you drove the Yukon, didn't you? You did drive, yeah, and you had Now, did they have the same shifter? Because I know you moved the Tahoe around. You had to pull the stuff, right?
Yeah.
And so, if you haven't seen this, it's on the dash, like next to the steering wheel, kind of in the dash. It's not that inconveniently placed, but you do pull the levers up for reverse and drive and push the button for park. So it's not that out of the way, but there is a rumor that says that the Silverado will get the Tahoe's interior, which it means it could get that push button or pull button. I guess it's like a push button transmission, or is it a pull button? I don't know. I have no idea how they're classifying that.
A push button, but you do have to pull it to put it into drive.
Yeah.
But it's pushed to. It's different than anything I've seen, because most of them are all like push, or actually I don't think I've seen anything where you pull it before.
I know, so it's really kind of bizarre. So and hey, in the Tahoe video will come out probably next week. Jill and I are doing a combo video with that. We're again baby steps here, baby steps. Hey, David gave me $5. Hey, thanks, Dave. I'll give you that back next week. Dave and I support each other with $5. It's an ongoing thing. I don't know if we're even or behind, but we each give each other $5. Unknown Target says, look at this point, until I see an EV pickup for sale to the public. It's all been vaporware, and I'm quite tired of hearing about it. I agree with you, and I don't know about Jill, but I hear a lot about it, and it's kind of getting like drone noise. Don't you think, Jill? I mean, it's like press releases and executives talk about it, and Twitter and all these posts about it, and it's been that way for about a year and a half now. Nothing's for sale.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Rivian at auto shows definitely we saw them there last year, because I climbed into the tunnel.
Yeah.
But you've seen Bollinger, and so yeah, I mean, it's like talk. I don't know what the first electric pickup truck out will actually be. Will it be Rivian? Will it be the Ford F-150?
Rivian's supposed to win. They're supposed to win that race. It's supposed to be out in August. But then the CEO just said, I don't remember the guy's name. He said that it'll be 2023 by the time some people get their trucks because of supply shortages. And so it's like,
yeah,
I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like, great, we're going to keep talking about it, and then we're going to get, it's going to be a niche part of the market that we're going to talk a lot more about. There'll be more stories and videos done on EV trucks, and EV trucks are being sold. All right, and Juan is here. Hey, thanks, Juan. Juan's a good friend from Puerto Rico. Juan, Jill, does not like me talking about deer hunting. He doesn't like me talking about anything I do to animals. He doesn't. He likes trucks, and he likes certain trucks. He's a SRT Juan on Facebook. So keep that in mind, that when we talk about deer hunting...
Can I talk...
Juan's going to be like...
So can I talk about vegan cooking? I could talk about vegan cooking.
You can talk about vegan cooking. Jill, if you don't know, Jill is a runner and a marathoner, and she's a very good cook, and she spends more time on her fitness than I do. Although I did get my walk in today, so I was happy with that. All right.
And I did not get my run in, so you're one up on me.
I thought you were going for a run today.
I was, but then I looked outside and it was raining.
Oh, yeah, Chicago.
I'm a little bit of a wimp, and it's like a sleeting rain, so I was just like, no.
Yeah, Chicago in November has got to be hit or miss.
Yeah, I mean, I can deal with snow. I can deal with rain when it's warm, but sleeting rain when it's like 40 degrees, meh.
David says, Nissan Nation Productions, with this $5, he says, let's give Jill a shot. She'll have one. Let's see. Juan, I'd rather buy my kids an iPad Pro for each of them instead of spending the money on the Chevy Tahoe rear entertainment package. Ooh, that brings up a good question. I did that video Monday, and Jill and I were talking about this on Facebook, and she has... Now, did the Yukon did you try it in the Yukon? I know you had a short-term loan on the Yukon, so I don't think you had time to try it.
I played with it a little bit in the Yukon, but I didn't... I'm kind of with Juan. I don't actually see the point of a rear seat entertainment and when everybody has their own devices right now. But I did play with one feature on it where you can send your navigation request to the driver. So like, say I'm sitting in the back seat and I want a cup of coffee, like I can search on that navigation screen or that back entertainment screen, find a Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or whatever, and then I can send that request up to the driver, and then the driver can either choose to accept it or not. But like I can tell the driver where to go. So I liked that. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, somebody said on one of the comments that like 80% of Tahoes and Yukons are sold for livery services, so limos. And he said that was a very cool feature. He could see that for like a limo. Like you could get like a limo service. And I was like, all right, I'll give you that one. But yeah, it was so interesting. All right, here we go. Logan, would you rather have a twin turbo V6 or a naturally aspirated V8? I was thinking about this today because there's been a lot of comments on the Tundra. And oh, by the way, let me share this image. I promised the people I'd talk about it. So there you go. I'm gonna put this on the screen. Joe's gonna see it in 5 seconds. And anyways, so this is Car and Driver took a spy photo that we bought for this channel. The spy photos you guys saw this weekend, and they took a cell phone image that was shot on Motor One, and they put these two images together on the screen. And so this is essentially a mashup of what the new front end of the Toyota Tundra looks like and will look like, even with the Dodge Ram mirrors or the Ram mirrors. And so you look at this image and it's like, that's it. But more so than that, there's all this talk about the 5.7 liter V8 dying, dead, gone forever in the Toyota Tundra and being replaced by the twin turbo V6. They're talking about actually a hybrid version of twin turbo V6. You know, torque's 455 foot-pounds torque, something like that. But even the F-150 that I'm going to buy, the hybrid, has like 570 foot-pounds torque, which freaking Jill got to drive, and I didn't get to drive it. But, I mean, so there's tons of torque in these things. I don't know. I guess I'm going to miss... I've said this before on this channel. I'm going to miss the sound of a V8. That's my biggest beef with electric trucks. I know electric trucks are faster. I know hybrids are faster. I know there's more torque, there's more horsepower, that kind of stuff. But for me, driving a truck and owning a truck is a visceral experience. It's the feeling behind the steering wheel. It's the sound of it. It's the rumble of the exhaust. It's the feeling of the putting your foot into it and getting a response. And so I would rather have a V8 because I don't care about fuel economy to that level. And frankly, the V8, I had a Tundra for a while, and that's plenty of torque and horsepower. I didn't need that much more. But now, of course, we got the best-in-class horsepower, best-in-class torque, best-in-class fuel economy. And it's like, but my thing is, what happened to what the consumer wants that's leaving? And we saw that with the Raptor. The Raptor went with that high-output twin-turbo, and people didn't like it. I saw a couple of videos on YouTube, and TFL did one, where a guy had he sold his new Raptor to buy the old Raptor because he wanted the exhaust note. So I like the exhaust note. Jill, what do you think of Chicago?
I would agree with you, actually. I mean, I've never been terribly concerned with fuel economy. I will say, so the review I just did of the Volvo XC90, it has an inline 4-cylinder paired with, it's a plug-in hybrid, so it has an electric motor. And that thing was really fast and good and seamless, but I agree with you about the exhaust note. I mean, it's like... I go back to the old, like the Dodge. I go back to cars because that's where my background is. But like the Charger, the Challenger, and there's just something about firing up that engine, and I mean, you feel the vibration like in your chest, and it's just, it's just something that's kind of exciting, and you just you're gonna go. And so I would agree with you. There's something about the sound and the exhaust, and there is no way to replicate that with piped in sound. Like I don't know if you've ever driven the i8. Have you driven the i8, the BMW i8?
No, I have not. BMW barely sends me a car. They were actually supposed to send me a car today, but it had summer tires on it, and it snowed in Denver.
Well, they pipe in sound. It's a 3-cylinder engine. And then they pipe in sound, and I mean, it's just weird. It's just weird. And so I mean, you can try to replicate that, but you're still not going to feel like the vibration that you get with an actual V8. But no, it's kind of sad and pathetic, actually. But yeah. I'm with you. Is the point of that? Yeah, you won.
And I mean, I know it's going away, and I know that companies keep pushing to go away. I mean, really, that's what's happening. The F-150 manager, the edit engineer, I think it's Charles or Chuck or something like that. And he was on my friend musclecarandtrucks.com. My friend Manny runs that site. And he was quoted as saying that, they're still going to build a 5-liter Coyote because there's still a market for that. And I was like, thank God, because it's like all you hear from Ford is EcoBoost, 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 EcoBoost. And it's like, yeah, great, but what about customers who don't want that? And that's not what you hear from Ford. You hear, I mean, it's an onslaught with us in journalism from that type of engine. And I'm going to tell you, I'm excited to get a new Ford truck. I've never actually owned a Ford. I'm excited to get the F-150 and have it for a while and have it to actually really put miles on it and test it out. But I'm not looking forward to the 3.5 liter with the hybrid. I mean, I'm going to try it, and because it's like in-city fuel economy is 24 miles per gallon. That makes sense for Jill in Chicago if she wants to drive a full-size truck in Chicago, which is a bit of a fun experience anyways. But it's like here in the city, I got my town, I thought of this today, I was at my walk, my town's got 3 stoplights. like 24 miles a gallon. If I drove 24 miles a city here, that'd be like 8 laps. Like all the way to the other town and back to this town and back and forth to get 20. I don't even know if I could do that in 24 miles. I mean, it'd be 10 laps. So I'm not that worried about it. To me, I'm more worried about the highway fuel economy, which I should really go with the diesel because diesels idle better at higher speeds, and there should be better fuel economy because of the way they burn. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. Oh, yeah. So Rick says... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I have to apologize if you hear there's a car alarm going off in the background.
Oh, no. That's, So,
welcome to Chicago.
Right? If you hear a random cow moving outside, you know that's from me. The car alarm, is from Jill. That's what's going on there.
Car alarm, sirens. Yeah, that would be me.
All right. So Rick says, push and pull transmission shifter reminds me of the Nash Rambler back in early 60s. Ooh, Rick's kind of... I'm not quite there. Jill, 1960s? Are you ringing the bell for you?
I mean, yes, but no. I love classic cars. I know what a Nash Rambler is, but I couldn't tell you push pull.
Yeah, so
he's probably.
He said it didn't go well back then. Heck, let's give it a try again. Everything's always giving it a try again. It's always one of those things. Too Big to Fail says he's from the east side of Chicago. Huh. Interesting. Uber option, yeah. All right, unknown target. Tim, my previous comment is not a slight at you or any journalist you're doing your jobs, but this whole EV thing outside of Tesla reeks of .com bubble. With either. We'll have red tow hooks. Yes, can you imagine getting picked up in a livery or a limo Tahoe Z71 with red tow hooks? That'd be impressive. All right, John Sotomayor, who's in Cheyenne, says, I think the engine will carry over for 1 year. New engine and transmission along with new design never happens all at once. Oh, yeah. Yeah, with that, yep. I could see the 5.7 liter carrying over for 1 year just because it's a lot of changes, I agree. But they could do something. I don't know. Bud Guy responds to the thing. He says, to the image, he says, that is terrible on the image you saw, the car and driver image. Don't know why Toyota and Chevy have to make ugly-looking trucks. So... this came up the other day. Jill, and you guys are going to type in down below in the comments, but Jill, the 2019 Silverado has been out now going on 2 years. And the question came up in Facebook in some of the comments was, are you liking the look better? Has the look kind of sat on you a little bit better? And are you like, yeah, I kind of deal with it now? Is it kind of like, how design is? If you don't make it, get a reaction right off the bat, then you're not doing your job. And I said, it's been 2 years, and I still don't like the look of the Silverado. I'm still not there yet. So where are you? I know I make you write at least truck articles. I know I make you pull images up of this stuff all the time. So have you thought about this? Are you getting more used to the look of it?
So it's really interesting because the Tahoe pulled up today, and the Tahoe face is very similar to the Silverado.
Yep.
And looking at it on the Tahoe, I actually liked it. And I, kind of that 3/4 angle, looking at it from, that diagonal, it looked nice. The headlights worked, and the you have a white one, and mine is kind of I don't know if it's like a gray blue, but it's kind of a darker color.
Okay.
And it just, the black on the grille kind of blending into the dark color of the paint, it just somehow looked really nice. I had a red Silverado a couple months. It was actually probably before you and I started working together, and that didn't work as well for me. I didn't like it as much, and I hate the interior. So I mean, I would say the exterior is starting to work for me a little bit more, and it might be a little bit more dependent upon the paint color. Because I don't think it looked like with your Tahoe, I don't think it looked as good on the white as it does on the dark. And I really didn't think it looked great on the red. So I don't know if it's like paint color dependent. I mean, the long rambling answer to all of that is it is starting to come along, but it still wouldn't be my preference.
Yeah, I've said a long time on this channel that I love the 3-liter diesel they came out with for that truck. I think the powertrain is phenomenal. I've driven in Missouri, I've driven it around the country, and I'm telling you, that powertrain is phenomenal. I like certain trim levels with that front end. The RST I don't think is as bad. High Country is a little bit growing on me because a little bit more chrome there. The Trail Boss and the Trail Boss Custom just looks like it's like if you took like your mouth and cut the chin off. And that's all you had. It's like those guys that chew tobacco too long and they just lose the lip. It's I don't know, something about it. And the interiors, I just don't understand why they blew the interior so badly. And that's one of the things. So Juan wants to know any update on my F-150. I'm buying an F-150. So if you don't know, I'm buying a truck for the channel. Multiple reasons. I want to tow some stuff. I got some long distance plans, driving I want to do, and I have a tax problem I need to solve. So buy a truck. Tax problem gone. So I'm gonna buy a new truck, and the Silverado came up as one of my options because I love the powertrain so much. But I'm not going to buy it because I just feel like the interior is going to be updated next year. So why buy it this year is kind of my thinking. And as far as update the F-150, I don't really have an update. I'm sorry. I have talked to Ford, and I updated this last week. I don't think you're here, Juan. But the update is that Ford is the buy-in date from the dealers was to be due by November 30th, which apparently is some verbiage in the industry that means that the trucks won't leave the manufacturing plants, hybrid versions of it, until the 30th of November, which means I'm probably sometime the first 2 weeks of December, because they'll leave the plant in Missouri and Detroit and Dearborn, and they basically get shipped to a railhead, and the railhead loads up on container cars and ships them to rails all across the country. Goes to railhead, and then at the railhead, these trucks, cargo trucks, pick them up and you deliver them the last mile or last 20 miles, whatever the deal is. And that's kind of how the system works. Most of the country is done that way. So it takes at least a week or two for those trucks to get from the plant to deal lots. So I'm probably looking at mid-December, and it's going to be interesting right now. So last week I told you my dealership in the area, I think he's got 5 or 10 different dealerships under the umbrella. So they're Fremont Motors. They have stuff in Colorado, and they have stuff in Wyoming and Nebraska, and they have lots of dealerships. And when I talked to him, his fleet guy didn't buy any hybrid F-150s. He didn't order any of them. They weren't going to buy them at all. They're just going to buy the 2.7, the 5-liter, and some of the 3.5s. They didn't buy hybrids. So I know I have to travel somewhere to get my truck. I was supposed to go to Austin in 2 weeks to do Jeep 4xe, but that got canceled because of COVID's blowing up everywhere in the country. So it could be a situation where I'm going to wait till after Christmas, because the wife and I were talking about we may load the kids up and take a road trip and go buy a truck and come back. A situation where I was thinking about this today. I may fly to Chicago and get a truck and have lunch with Jill and drive back. The reality of things is this: I live in too small of a market. I have to find a bigger market sometime December, and I have to get this truck sometime December. So there's your update. And so that's what's going on. I really don't have a better update to that. I know it's going to be. I've done the insurance. I don't know if you guys saw that video. I did the insurance, and it's $1,000. Is basically what's going to cost me to own this truck every month. $1,000. Jill, do you think $1,000 for a truck is completely reasonable?
I do not know.
See, this is when I put Jill on the spot.
To be honest,
yes,
I haven't bought a new car ever. Like, I always buy used, and like I've never bought a new car, and I usually pay cash. So that's a very tough question for me, because I mean, in light of the story that you recently wrote about the used car truck prices going up, I might change my opinion. But like, I always recommend people buy used rather than buy new. And which is kind of funny for a new car reviewer to say.
Yeah, I mean, I bought. This will be. Let's see. This will be my third new truck I bought. I had an S10, I had a Tundra, and this will be my third one. And I mean, for me, it makes sense from a business standpoint because of what my needs are, and being the business I have here, plus the tax. I mean, it's just a lot of that makes sense. But I do think it's funny buying a new truck when used truck prices have grown so much. I was looking at some numbers, and I think it's about I think it's like $150 a month difference, or maybe even maybe $150 a month difference between some of the used trucks I was looking at and the new trucks I was looking at. And my residual value on the new truck was going to be higher than the used truck because the used truck market's so hot. And so, if you listen, I know you're a Dave Ramsey fan, and people like that. Buying new vehicles is just the worst decision you can make. I mean, financially, it's a terrible decision. But when the market changes like this, and when interest rates are low and incentives are high and things like this changing, it does change that paradigm up. It does turn things around for a lot of people because it's like, wait a minute, there's always a bad decision, but now things have changed a little bit. It is very interesting. Unknown Target, no, Too Big to Fail had a really good comment. He says, Joe liked this one. Trucks need to be ugly, a bit ugly. That way the first dent doesn't hurt as much, like it deserved it. So yeah, that way you're not to worry about it. Yeah, that was pretty funny. All right, so Logan says, I'm considering the Toyota Tundra. Let's see. Where did it go? I zoom a little bit too fast on this. It's a good question. He says, I'm considering the Toyota Tundra or the Ram, but part of me wants the power of the Hemi, but I want the reliability of the Toyota. That's a good one. That's a really good one. I will say this. Ram's reliability has crept upwards. Jill and I have been doing a lot of reliability stories, and if you look at them, you can see Ram has climbed upwards, not making like leaps and bounds, but making some benefits. So they're getting better reliability. I really wanted to buy a Ram to check the reliability for a year. I really wanted to see what the kind of issues they have. I would wait. I'd wait till February for the Toyota Tundra because, well, February or March or April, I mean, Jill's in Chicago, and as we've alluded to, she's in lockdown. That means Chicago Auto Show is a little bit of a weird situation. It's supposed to be sometime in February. So that could be a situation where they may do a reveal on their own. But typically what happens is a truck gets unveiled in the spring and goes in dealer lots in the fall. That's been the cadence for a long time. And so if it were me and you can hold off, I'd hold off till then. But it's hard to say what's going to happen. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. It's such a weird time in the marketplace. We've been watching reveals online. We've been doing backgrounder stuff behind the scenes. We've been talking to people, and it's nobody has a good plan. Nobody has a good plan.
No, well, and the LA Auto Show was supposed to be right now, and so the media days were supposed to be last week.
Yep.
And so there were a couple of, well, actually there were several reveals. I mean, not anything that people here would care about because it was like the Subaru BRZ, the Honda Civic, they did do the Jeep 392, the Wrangler Rubicon.
Yeah, the V8,
so like there were a whole bunch of reveals that happened last week that were supposed to happen at the LA Auto Show, but then because they weren't at the, there was no LA Auto Show, they did a combination of virtual reviews. I think the Honda Civic did theirs on some weird social media that's supposed to be big with millennials. I can't even remember the name of it. And then but Subaru did an in-person reveal. And so there was like this weird combination of like virtual versus in-person versus, press release.
Yeah.
reveals for the stuff that was supposed to be at LA.
Yeah, it's been really awkward lately, so I don't know. We'll see what happens, what Toyota does. Toyota did their van, the Sienna, and the crossover car, the one you like, the crossover SUV, the Venza.
Oh, the Venza?
Yeah, they did the Venza video, so may do the same thing. All right, so the Mighty Case says, can't wait for the V8 playlist package in the 2028 Hummer EV. I don't know how people are going to swap that Hummer EV with a big V8. I would do it. Purple Skirp says, or Perp Skirp, I love some of these names. I just got a 21 Tundra and Lunar Rock. That's a cool color. Just because I want a V8, I don't care if it's got 800 horsepower, twin turbo V6, I'll keep my 8-cylinder. And then Too Big to Fail says, I love a V8, but I hate feeding them. Any fuel money I save is money in my pocket as a contractor. Yes. If you're a contractor and using for work, I think a small displacement V6 makes a lot of sense. I just think, from a general consumer. Logan says, how do you love your Tundra? I loved it. I drove a couple of years. My wife loved driving it. Big truck, allowed us to have kids. The reason I bought it, and Jill will appreciate this as being one of Tim's stories, is I bought it because my choice was a minivan or a truck, and it wasn't a hard decision. And also my kids could sit in the back of the truck and not touch each other because it was so big back there. That's very important as a parent. So
thank goodness you didn't have 3 kids, because then, there would be no avoiding that.
Well, my sister-in-law sat back there, so sometimes here we go, moving on. Doesn't Chevy or Ford pipe in V8 sound of some of the vehicles? Yes, they have, Bud Guy. They've done it. I think Ford's done it. I don't believe Chevy's done it, but I think Ford's done it. Too Big to Fail, I'm trying to steal Jill's car right now. Do not do that. Jill has she's got a story about that. Do not do that. Not funny.
I'm a fighter, by the way. Just so you know, I'm a fighter. Actually, if you go to my Twitter account, which is also at Jill Simonello, pinned to the top of my Twitter account is my story of being carjacked.
Yeah, somebody carjacked Jill. Was it 2 years ago? A year ago?
2 years, yeah.
Yeah, that was we were all glued to the Facebook on Jill's page trying to see what the updates were. And
by the way, still no update.
Didn't he went to court, didn't he? Didn't they catch him?
They caught him, but it hasn't come to trial or anything yet.
Oh, good night. So. What a nightmare. Yeah, so that literally did happen. That's tough. Too Big to Fail, my town has 2,400
But again, I'm
stoplights.
a fighter, so.
Yeah. Oh, she's prepared now. She's definitely prepared. Let's just say it like that. So, Too Big to Fail says his town's got 2,400 stoplights. I think it's more than I got. Sasan, when will you get a 2021 Ram TRX loaner? So that's been a conversation. We're Jill. I know Jill's in conversations with Ram about that, and I'm in conversations. Yeah.
I'm actually scheduled, I think December 8th through the 15th. So beginning of December, middle of December.
So that's going to be interesting. So we're going to do Will It Fit in Jill's Garage, which is always really funny to me. I love watching that one. And the other question is, can she drive a Ram TRX around Chicago? I think that's going to be the thumbnail. Like, the thumbnail on the image is going to be like, driving a Ram TRX around Chicago. I think all Jill's going to do is throw a GoPro up and just drive for like 2 hours and try to park and try to drive around town. That's the entire video, right? Well, you guys want to watch that, don't you?
Watch me parallel park, let it go into a parking garage.
Yes.
Somewhere. That would be total fun. Not really. Like, as I shear the top off of the vehicle.
Just got to take some air out of the tires when you pull in. I mean, come on.
Well, the Land Rover Defender, that was an interesting review is on the website. Video is coming, but that was an interesting. Will it fit? And let's drive it around Chicago.
Yeah, that Land Rover Defender did not fit in Chicago at all. I gotta say, it was like it was built for like safari looking stuff with the roof rack on the top of it, and that was a little bizarre.
Yeah, well, it had the I think the Adventure Pack, which is the top tier pack, and it had the roof rack and the side cargo management system and mud flaps and all sorts of things. But it like cleared my garage by like this much. Like, literally, I had to have my husband come out and like say, okay, yeah, no, you're fine, and then because the mechanicals for my garage come down, and so I had to like pull to the side so that I didn't hit the actual physical mechanicals for my opener.
What a nightmare. All right, we got a question for Jill from Eric Mings, and this kind of ties in the TRX. So the TRX, if you don't know, has a console shifter, not the rotary dial. That's the difference, which is interesting. Yep. So it's the console shifter, which was a sidebar real fast. I learned that Ford offers a console shifter in a 302A Sport package. If you get a Sport, you get a console. If you keep it the 302A non-Sport, you get the column shifter. So shifter madness right now is going crazy. But the question is, they want to know, they said, what is Jill's thoughts on the rotary dial shifter? You know, the turn shifter on the Ram.
Right. I mean, okay, so I'm a car person.
Right.
And
well, that's why they want to know. I mean, right. So, I mean, you understand
that
here.
We will never own something that's not a manual. So, I mean, if it's not a manual, tomato, it's all the same thing. I don't know. I mean, I don't. It's fine. I don't have a problem with the rotary dial, but it's. I mean, it's just another way to shift. If it's not a manual, it's something else.
So
does that make sense?
You just made a bunch of fans because the biggest complaint on trucks, and these guys, I'm telling you, these guys they're typing right now, is that you cannot buy a manual transmission half ton anymore. And I think there's Toyota was only the Tacoma had a manual, Nissan just killed their manual, Chevy Colorado killed their manual, GMC killed their manual. We don't talk about Ridgeline on this channel. No, that's fine. We talk about Ridgeline. They don't have a manual, but I mean, Gladiator doesn't have a manual either. So Jeep doesn't have a manual. So, and I believe that 3/4 ton and 1 ton's the same deal. I don't believe there's any manual transmission truck for sale anymore.
Not in the United States, I don't think.
Yeah, and you just said if it's not a manual, it's not. Interesting.
So. Yeah, I love a good manual transmission, and I like the control that you get, and so I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't understand the great debate about a rotary versus the column. Well, I guess I kind of understand the column shifter, but the rotary dial versus the gear shift, whatever. I mean, it's all the same to me if it's not a manual.
Okay, all right. I like the console shifter. I don't like the column shifter is fine. The problem with the column shifter is over time it gets loose a little bit because it just the linkage gets loose in that. I've always found in my case just gets a little loose, which is frankly fine, but that's just what happens. I like the console shifter. I like putting it in gear. And I guess that's mainly because also maybe throw back to the manual in that, especially in the Tundra, it has a gated shifter, so you kind of go down. Around, you get a drive, then you flip it over, and you can do your individual gearing like you would a manual, and then flip it back to drive. So you just lose the pedal, but you can still shift gears. And so I think that's why I like the console shifter with that. But yeah, I don't know. Ford's console shifter.
A place to rest your hand.
Yeah, I like that too. It's a place. Ford's console shifter sucks because it's not gated, and so I always end up going all the way down in the first gear. And someone's like, get second gear, move it along. But yeah, so I do like that. I do like a place to rest. So we've been talking to the Chevy Tahoe. There's the center console moves a little bit. It's got a locking if all the way back and locking all the way forward, but it moves a little bit and drove me nuts. And you'll see it in the video review. But yeah, it was crazy. All right, so. All Train Nation, David says we'd own a Trail Boss from Chevy, but would you own the Trail Boss, the custom Trail Boss with the work truck package, or the other Trail Boss 6.2? I don't know. This is a big debate of mine. I have a friend who got a 6.2 Trail Boss. It's on this channel. We did a video with him, and it's pretty interesting. It's interesting. Let's see. Will it still be blue, Tim? Oh, on the F-150. I may have to. I don't know. I may have to go with something else. I do like the antimatter blue, but I may have to buy what I'm going to do. Let's see. Tim and Jill, just like the Tool Man, Tim Taylor. No. Well, actually, yeah, her name was Jill. Holy cow, her name was Jill. Yeah.
So I was thinking of the Green Acres theme song, but maybe we need to go with the Tim the Tool Man.
Yeah,
theme
Tool Time.
song.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, you're right. Jill was her name. Was the wife's name?
Jill Taylor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, look at you. You're like the last name and everything. Yeah. So all right. Hey, David says just sub to Jill. Help support good creators. So good. You have another sub. See how it works.
Thank you.
Back and forth on that. Let's see. Who will be buying a used e-truck in 10 years? Show of hands. Did you see this? I didn't do a story on it, but Ford sent a notice to dealerships saying that the Mach-E can lose 30% of its value in the first year. Like, they're expecting huge losses on the used car market for the Mach-E. Huge.
Oof.
Ugh.
I did not see that. That's oof.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just crazy. I don't know.
But do you think that's real though? Because I mean, Tesla, they actually, I think you can like you sell your Tesla used for almost what you bought it for.
Yeah, but I think they're the outliers. I think they're like you've talked about in the past. They're the Apple of car world, right? So they're the outliers on that. I think a lot of EVs like the Bolt, and I think that the Leaf on the used car market, I mean, they're like trying to give them away because they just can't get rid of these things. I thought I saw a story on a Leaf that was like $6,000, like a slightly used Leaf was $6,000.
I mean, 80 miles of range. I mean, that's pretty crappy.
Yeah.
The old Leafs, like they had zero range. I remember they brought me one in Chicago, and I didn't have a place where I could charge it. I now have a garage that I can charge in, but initially I had an outdoor space in an alley and no place to charge, so I had to like go to a Whole Foods or something like that to go and charge it, and it was like negative 15 degrees. So they gave it to me in the winter with 80 miles of range, and it was like horrible because I was afraid to drive it because I was like complete range anxiety. And then the poor guy, when he picked it up and had to take it back to the fleet, like he couldn't turn his heat on because like I had 50 miles of range, and he was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it. And I mean, so the older Leafs, like I could see why the value there is way down, because I mean, if anything under 100 miles, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, even living in the city, like when it's cold outside, like you're going to be turning on the heat, you're going to be turning on your heated seats, and that range pretty much cuts in half.
Yeah, I have so many questions about EVs. I really just want to buy one. I know people are going to be like, oh my God, you want to buy an EV? You're the anti-EV guy. But look, I really just want to buy one and just test the hell out of it. Like, I just want to know. It's so many curious things. But, all right. So, the Krikorian says 5.0 liter still has its customers. Ford needs to listen to the customer when it comes out to 5.0 liter. Otherwise, people will choose the Tundra. Thank you. And thanks to Jill on the F-150 review. I told you that review was going to do well.
Thank you.
Oh, there's a Chicago question. They want to know, how is the pizza in Chicago?
Depends on where you go. So you have to keep in mind now, I'm Italian, and I do not like that cheesy, crappy deep dish stuff. Sorry to the person on the east side who maybe likes that. But I'm Italian. I like New York style pizza. So if I'm going to go for pizza, there's a place here that's not touristy at all. It's called Pequod's, and it's in Lincoln Park. You have to be looking for it to go there. That's my favorite pizza in Chicago. Otherwise, my favorite pizza in Chicago is Pizza I Make.
So you're not the deep dish Chicago style fan? I mean, that's the thing, right?
That's horrible. You can't taste the sauce. There's all this cheese and dough. I mean, the point of the pizza is the sauce.
Yeah, so we may differ on that one. All right, so let's see what's going on. Eric Kissel,
Back
Woodhouse.
to the car stuff.
Yeah, Woodhouse, Ford, and Blair in Omaha. Eric sent me some emails on this. I check them out, Eric. I keep looking at them. They have a bunch of Fords coming in, but they're all 2.7s. Oh, we're back to a little bit of insurance. Yeah, David says his Bronco's going to be $850 a month for a new Bronco. That's what it's going to be, guys. $850. Giordano Pizza. We do Giordano for Mazda at the Chicago Auto Show. That's fine with me.
Geno's. You do Geno's.
Is that...
It's not Giordano's.
Oh, I got a Geno's. I'm sorry.
Geno's East, where you can write on the wall.
I am going to bring you some cow pies, and we'll talk about stuff. We need that new F-50 for the channel, yes. David says he surveyed Dave Ramsey's property. Interesting. All right, so Chad...
I like Dave Ramsey, but I don't agree with everything Dave Ramsey says. I want to clarify that, because somebody on there said that they didn't like Dave Ramsey. The whole credit card thing, I don't agree with.
Okay. This is why Jill's husband is winning arguments. Chad Delk says, well, speaking of the first dent, hit a deer 4 days after buying my new truck. That hurt.
Ooh.
Yes. There's conversation about... Yeah, okay. So, Dave wants to know, did myself or Jill watch the silly Ford SEMA reveal? And I want to say this, that neither one of us watched this, but
I didn't.
I got to say something here that maybe will stay in live stream. So what happens live stream stays in live stream. And I have to say, and Jill's going to agree with me here, I think she's going to agree with me, is that Ford's online reveals have been met with a lot of criticism by fans, and it just reinforces how much journalists have been dealing with this stuff for years. The way they reveal trucks is just maddening. Oh my gosh. I need to drink whiskey while I'm watching it to keep myself entertained, because it just, and that the actor they have, Dennis Leary, terrible. Like, it's just, the whole thing's awful. Like, and so I'm so happy that I've been able to watch a few of their live streams they've done, like some of the YouTube reveals, and the comments just mirror what I've been saying in the press for years. And I can see Jill. Jill's like, yeah, we're just going to move along from that one. All right. Zesty Meatball says, people don't need 470 horsepower to rock crawl. I agree. Oh, too big to fail. I had a lady friend. He had a lady friend with a 5-year-old Ram 1500 Pentastar with 6-speed manual regular cab ultimate work truck. That's a perfect work truck. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So Squat says, bought the Chevy Duramax 3.0 liter. And have you driven the 3 liter? Have you driven the new 3 liter diesel?
Yes.
So he bought it, 19,000 miles later. It purrs and super gas efficient. Plus the takeoff is awesome. That powertrain is phenomenal. And what a big mess up by GM that they can't fit the 3 liter diesel in the Tahoe Z71. Because they have coolant line issues. So you design a built from scratch engine, you design a fresh up, ground off refresh of a Tahoe, and you can't make them fit? Am I crazy here to think that's such a big screw up on their part? Come on. All right, so Ford's taking a hit on reliability from Consumer Reports. Thomas Starr wants to know, is Consumer Reports a good source for true reliability ratings? I wonder if Jill's got a comment. No, Jill's just nodding. She's like, okay.
Well, I've just started working on my next reliability story right now, and spoiler alert, it's going to be on the Ford Ranger. And so I'm like looking at Consumer Reports, and they don't really have anything to ding the Ford Ranger on, yet it's last on the list of trucks in terms of reliability. And so I need to dig into that a little bit more. So I find that a really interesting question, because I don't know. But I thought it was really interesting that, the Ranger is like, it has minor complaints. It has like a couple of recalls. There's nothing really egregious going on here, yet it's like 6 out of 6 in terms of its competitive set in terms of reliability. And so I don't know if that's just because it only has 2 model years they're looking at, and everything else has more. So I don't know. I think when they're looking at vehicles that have more than just 2 model years, I think that they have very good predictive reliability. But like I said, I'm looking at the Ford Ranger and I'm like trying to understand where they're coming from on this.
Yeah, I found the Consumer Reports can be, to me, it's a resource. It's one of several resources. I've I guess I've been teaching Jill how to do this. It's kind of a weird way to say it, but I've been showing Jill what I've done in the past, and she's taken her own kind of look at it. But I use carcomplaints.com. I use NHTSA to look at recalls, look at Consumer Reports. And I try to put them all together because it gives you more of a clear picture looking at different sources of information. So I think they're a good source of information. I just wouldn't use them as the only source. I think, and the other thing too is, so you got to come down to sometimes like, what do you like? I mean, reliability some days just comes down to like, my cell phone won't connect with the infotainment screen. So this truck gets a 1 out of 10. It's terrible. And it's like, well, that's not really accurate. It's not really true. And so you got to keep that in mind as well. So we got 3 or 4. Well, we got about 6 minutes left. We had a little delayed, so I'm gonna keep Jill on a little bit longer. But I want to kind of rapid fire through some of these questions. Again, we have social media there on the screen. Jill's YouTube channel there. Please check her out and subscribe. We have Patreon, which we have, and the website down below, which Jill's working her butt off. And you see, guys, you see the growth I'm seeing. It's like year over year, the numbers are stupid. It's like 520% more, 600% more. It's just crazy. But Sunny Arizona Pool Service says Rivian R1T or 2022 Tundra to pull an Airstream. That is a pretty interesting comment. Love the idea of an all-electric truck with all the torque. Yeah, absolutely. Electric truck, torque on demand, gone. It's just going to take off. But hate the idea of cutting the battery life in half while towing, which gives me about 200 miles. Maybe even less than that. I mean, it depends on the winds, depends on the driving you're doing. Imagine taking like electric car, like this electric truck behind the screen, and putting a rock on it and then driving in the wind. I mean, it's really going to cut that down. And so you'll be charging quite a bit. For me, when I want to go somewhere traveling, I want to go camping, I want to get there. I don't want to be sitting somewhere and having a cup of coffee and charging my truck up to be able to drive more miles to get to the campground. And the other thing too is I was in eastern Nebraska, little town out there, and they had these Tesla charging stations. They had built this in part of the supercharger network, and it was like literally next to the world's worst Wendy's and worst gas station, the one where you don't want to go to the bathroom even because you're just like concerned about the facility. And there's like tumbleweeds flying down the road next to these Tesla charging stations. And I'm like, do you really want to stop there in your Tesla and go buy the world's worst cup of coffee, hover on the toilet, and wait like 3 hours for this thing to charge to get more? I can tell by Jill's reaction she's not a fan of that.
I'm having like visions of Psycho in my head.
Yeah.
So no, I don't want to stop there.
Yeah, no. So David says, when Jill was carjacked, did she say, "Hey, what's the matter with you?" Yeah, she had a lot of things to say.
Actually, I think I said no, thank you.
Is that what you said? Gene wants to know.
That's exactly what I said.
Gene wants to know how the TRX handles Chicago potholes.
Soon,
yes.
I will let you know.
Yeah,
up and down Belmont Avenue, like I will go for it.
I'm telling you, Jill, write your review up for Pickup Truck Talk, but when you do the video, you should just do a specific, like driving around Chicago, hitting potholes, parking the damn thing. Yeah, Mike says sweaty face TRX drive. Oh my god, we're gonna write this thing. Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, so
I'm looking really stressed out, trying not to sideswipe everything as I go down the really narrow two-way streets. Yeah, you'll definitely see some sweaty face there.
Gene says, Jill, you should scare your husband and say, "Hey, the new pickup is here. We can go Christmas shopping now."
Only if it's a manual transmission.
Yes, some manuals. Yeah, manuals. Yeah, lots of people talk about manuals. I'm going to kind of scroll down here. Ooh, crap, batteries. Daniel C. TFL truck with an AV didn't do well range-wise. No, if you don't saw that story, they tried to take a Tesla Model Y. Is it the SUV? Is Y the SUV? Is it the X?
The small one.
Yeah,
there's X and there's Y.
They tried to take an X to Portland. Did not work out well at all. They actually turned around because they were nervous about trying to get there. Edmunds is owned by Cox Automotive, which also owns KBB. They are an advertising agent that sells out the highest bidder. I don't know. I hear that stuff all the time, and people can say that about my stuff. It's like it's the same thing. Yas says, "Doesn't take 3 hours to charge." Tim! Exclamation point. Stop exaggerating. Yas gets mad at me because he loves EVs. He gets all mad at me. And look, it takes a while to charge. It does. And they're trying to make. I know they're gonna charge so fast to have 90% in whatever time period, but I don't know. Again, I need to buy one of these to really check it out. Where will the TRX video be here? Tim's channel or on hers? It'll be on. Anything on our channel? Yeah. So she can do like interior on her channel, and do like the full one on this channel. We're trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure stuff out. Like I said, my YouTube channel is just in its like infancy.
Yeah. So
I think I have 500 followers. I'm now like 501 with whoever just subscribed. So.
Yeah, so it's a learning thing. I will tell you that when I started this YouTube channel, it was a big learning curve. This is not easy, guys. If I make it look easy, if Jill makes it look easy, that's fine. But this is not an easy thing to do. Too Big to Fail, who lives in Tucson, by the way. He's not nowhere in Chicago. He's joking. Too Big to Fail has had a few drinks in him tonight. And he says, like electric for local use. I agree. I rarely leave my 20-mile radius so I can fuel up at home, leave my Camry for long trips. I said with the Transit, the e-Transit, I think that thing's awesome. And Jill had to read my ramblings, but I think that's freaking awesome. That is a closed loop situation where if you buy it, you're only going to drive 100 miles a day, whatever closed loop. You have almost 4,000 pounds of payload. It's customizable, upfitter, all kind of stuff. It's a perfect solution for those type of situations. But like Jill's going to talk about with the XC90 is that she was in Chicago. She could drive all day on electric power and XC90, but I get out here and I could drive some days on power, but a lot of days I may drive further because it just out here in the country, some days, I live in town, so it's not a little bit different. Country town, kind of weird situation, but some days I only drive 3 or 4 miles. Some days I drive 300 miles. That's the hard part with me. No, Jill is not single. All right, so Jill is my hero. 10 to 20. All right, so Yas says 10 to 20 minutes to charge usually. You don't have to charge 100%. You can charge just enough to get to your destination or its next supercharger. Yeah, but you're constantly stopping, Yas. You constantly have to stop and charge. I've had many drinks, Tim. That's too big to fail. That's what he says. I knew it. Who's fast editing videos? I do all the editing. What about Hyperloop?
Yeah.
Yeah. My Model 3 has more range than my 18 Mustang GT. Yeah. Tim edits like Jim Carrey. Do not. Very fast. Michael Amore. Oh, we're at 60 minutes. Here we go. Last question. Did I buy the truck yet? No, I'm still waiting. The update on this, I'll do it one more time, is that it's not leaving the factory until November 30th. So probably the first couple weeks of December till I get a chance to actually see one and buy one on deal lots by the time you ship them out. So it's like it's just at that point where I gotta wait. I know what I want. Wait till I get it. So any final thoughts there, Jill from Chicago, who, by the way, if you haven't checked out her channel and you haven't seen the posters above her head, the posters are really cool. I do like the posters she's going on.
And Dave Alaster.
Yes. So are those? So talk to us about these posters. Are those actual vehicles that you got from launches, or what's the story on them?
So when the Veloster first came out, I attended the launch for it, and it was in Portland, Oregon, and they had some kind of a big music festival thing going on that we were kind of dovetailing into. And so the posters are they're by somebody called Douglas Fir, who I guess is an artist. But this was actually the takeaway from the event were the posters that they did for the music festival. But it's I'm like, does it say on here where it was? Yeah, Music Fest Northwest, Helio Sequence, Fantagram. I don't know if those are bands. I just thought they looked really cool. And so I was like, oh yes, I need these, and I'm framing them and I'm putting them in my office.
Yeah, they do look pretty cool. So one final question from Too Big to Fail. Other people, they said, can we have Jill on again?
I'm excited that people want me back. So thank you.
Yes, I am going to buy a truck. I just got to wait for the right truck. All right, so that's it, guys. We are going to end this for tonight. Might check us out next week. We'll be here live. I will be here live for sure. 4:30 p.m. Also check out the channel. We got cool stuff coming. I have a story for you coming maybe this week or next week, whatever. It's a situation where a certain truck part doesn't exist anymore. You can't get it. It doesn't exist, and you guys have no idea what this is because you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you. This truck part no longer exists. And it's gone forever. So there you go. So yeah, we're going to talk more about stuff. Make sure you check the website down below. Like I said, on the website, pickuptrucktalk.com. Always new stuff coming up there. Jill and I are working really hard to get that done. As always, guys, thanks for watching. We will see you